Hey everybody, KC here. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Everybody has to have a story. Now I tell this to people all the time. I tell it to high school students who are trying to figure out the best way to get into college. You have to have a story that differentiates you, that distinguishes you. So your application looks different than everybody else's. I tell it to college students who are looking for a job. You got to have a story that differentiates you, that distinguishes you, so your resume goes to the top of the pile. I tell it to people in the industry who are trying to advance their careers. And I've always said it here about businesses, whether you're a manufacturer or a retailer, it's critical that your brand's story is something different. And you've got to pay really close attention to narrative. I talk about story this morning because Shecky Greene died at the age of 97 on New Year's Eve. Now, if you're under 50, you may have no idea who Shecky Greene is. But Shecky Greene was this sort of classic old-time Las Vegas comedian, the kind of guy who would open for Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin. And he was just very, very funny. I don't remember him being particularly dirty or controversial. He was just funny. He did the Carson show like more than 60 times, and he always had Carson in stitches. And I was thinking about the fact that I once saw Shecky Greene on Carson. This has got to be 50 plus years ago. And he's sitting at the on the couch. And somebody must have said to him, what's your funniest joke? What's your favorite story? And he told you the joke that I'm about to tell you. And the amazing thing is, 50 plus years ago, I remember it like it was yesterday. That's how clear it is in my mind. And the story goes like this. So there's this Irish priest who has come to the United States, and he's living in Boston, and he is running a parish outside Boston. But the Irish priest, and this is some time ago, right? This is a long time ago that Greene is telling the story. Because he is Irish, he has a hatred for all things British. So whatever the sermon happens to be, every Sunday when he gets up in the pulpit, he says something negative about the British. He just takes a shot at them because he hates them so much in his soul. There's nothing he can do about it. But, the parishioners get kind of tired of it, and they complain to the cardinal or the archbishop, and the cardinal calls him in and says, Father McHenry, you've really got to stop making so many negative comments about the British. And the priest looks at him and says, I'm sorry. I'm only telling you the truth. I'm not saying anything that's a lie. And the cardinal says, well, that may be a matter of opinion, but listen, people are going to stop going to church. They're going to stop putting money in the collection basket. You have to stop, or I'm going to take away your right to preach. Well, Father McHenry is sort of offended by this, but he figures I've got to live up to what my bishop tells me. So he goes back to the church, and for 3 or 4 Sundays, he gives his sermon. And he doesn't say anything negative about the British, but it's so hard. And he's trying to figure out how to do it, but he can't. But it's killing him. It's killing him. And finally, on another Sunday, he gets up in the pulpit, and he looks at the parishioners, and he says, my dear friends in Christ, Today the sermon is about the Last Supper, and how Christ looked at his 12 apostles and he said, one of you will betray me. And how Judas Iscariot leapt to his feet and he said, I say, Governor, you don't mean me, do you? I remember that story from 50 years ago. It still makes me crack up. Anyway, a story that people will remember is one of the most important things you can do. That's what's on my mind. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.